Just a reminder, if you are not speaking, if you could please mute your mics to limit the background noise, that would be much appreciated. Welcome, everyone, staff, fellow councilors, Mayor Day. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Finance and Administration Committee meeting, virtually again, as per our council amendment to allow this to occur till the end of December. I'd first like to acknowledge that we are gathering this evening virtually on the traditional territories of the Subasset people, where the First Nation and the town of Lake Cowichan share values in economic, environmental, and social sustainability on the lands we share. And with that, I'll be looking for introduction of late items, if there are any. Seeing none. Approval of the agenda, if I may. Moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Vomaka. Any discussion on that? Call the question. All those in favor? None opposed. That motion carries. Business arising in unfinished business. There's one item there, the municipal hall upgrade update. Would you like to take this, Joseph?
Yeah, there's only one item that I think council would be interested in, is the closing date for the tenders, which is next Monday. Everything else has gone pretty well. We are just waiting for the drainage issues to be resolved in the meantime. And then hopefully things move along smoothly after that.
Questions, colleagues? No? Oh, Mayor Day, please.
Just so I'm certain here, if the weather doesn't allow the folks to get started after if we get to choose a bidder, will they be able to start on the inside portion before they have to do any work outside? Because if the weather persists the way it is?
Yes, in fact, we are looking at some options here. So that would be an option.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Austin, please.
Yes, I just had a question too. So the staff in the office will have to move into a different place?
Correct.
And you will be in a different place as well?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you very much, Joseph. Moving forward, we have no delegations or representations this evening. There is correspondence from Assistant Deputy Minister Tara Faganello, Minister of Municipal Affairs, on amendments to various pieces of provincial legislation. Very interesting read. Do you have a synopsis on that, Joseph? Or?
Yeah, I can provide that. I think the legislation that would affect us most is the Community Charter and the Local Government Act. And they're providing some new tools. One is the development approvals process. They're looking at some changes so that local governments can make some changes to the public hearing process. And you don't have to, but at least it gives you the provision to make changes to that. And also the other thing is in terms of public notice requirements, we are able to make some changes on that too. And that will be in-house. So we come up with the best options in terms of providing public notice. Currently, we have to post it in the newspapers 2 consecutive weeks. And I think we can make some changes there that will work for us. And the other one is, I think probably doesn't affect council as much, is the requirement for a code of conduct. We already have one for council members. And I think that would, I've also provided a copy of it, I think, to people that were looking for it, for an example, and I've not heard back anything that was negative. And the other 2 pieces of, 3 pieces of legislation don't really affect us. The one dealing with the Glacier Mountain Resort Municipality, the Islands Trust Act, and the Powell River Incorporation Act, those are issues that don't affect us. So that's the short of it.
Thank you very much. Any input from anyone else? I think one interesting factor that they negated to look at regional districts with a little more approving authority. And hopefully that may come in the future. Approving officers, for one, would be something that I would like to see within regional districts, and also business licenses. I think that would be an avenue to go down, to make it a level playing field, for instance. But other than that, I do like some of the changes coming forward on the public notice, etc. Mayor Day, I did see your hand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and just through you to Mr. Fernandez. When it comes to modernizing public notice requirements, I don't know if you've seen any inside documents on this, but are they considering social media as a way?
They're looking at the internet as a way of providing public notice. So that is something that we will have to look at and see if it's appropriate for us.
Yeah. I'd be torn one way or the other on that, but looking forward to a discussion if we have one.
I think it'd be interesting if we had the majority of electorate on the email list. That could be a way to incorporate information, but if you haven't already signed up for that, feel free to do so. There's a little plug for you. Anything else on this subject? Moving on. Thank you very much. First report is from the Director of Finance on the financial report ending October 31st, 2021. It's a spooky financial report. Ms. Gill, please.
Thank you. It's Councillor McGonigal. The statements are attached. This month I was busy renewing the fleet insurance. Happy to report that the costs for fleet renewal were $10,000 lower than that of last year. The savings, however, were short-lived. We were also renewing our property insurance with Aon Reed Stenhouse. And I'm looking for a motion for approval to spend up to $85,000 there. The renewal costs are up about 30% from last year here. The increases are not specific to Lake Halton. We have a number of buildings that don't have fire suppression systems, and after what's been happening over the summer, insurance companies are now looking at that. And so the only part we haven't finished finalizing is a cyber policy, and that's still being worked on. So we're looking for a renewal or a recommendation for renewal of property insurance with Aon Reed Stenhouse for a payment to a maximum of $85,000. Forthcoming to the next regular council meeting, we're going to have the fees and services bylaw, the water and sewer bylaws, as well as the waste bylaw. So these will all be coming forward to council for approval.
So prior to going to questions, I would be looking for a resolution to afford that. Councillor Austin moves, seconded by Councillor Sandu, on the insurance payment to Aon up to $85,000.
Right.
Any questions? Will that include GST? Ms.
But
Gill?
there's no GST on insurance.
Excellent. Any further questions? Yes, Councillor Womacka.
I know it's probably a given, but I'm assuming that the new addition to the town hall will have fire suppression in the building.
I do believe the CAO has been looking into that.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention was the RFP for the DCCs is also in a memo attached to this meeting agenda.
You'll be looking for a resolution on that as well?
For the DCCs?
Yes, or that's coming forward. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just for information. So any questions on the financial report themselves? Councillor Austin.
Thank you. I had a couple of things under revenues, the dog tags and fines. I just wanted a little bit of a breakdown on that, and other revenue for 49,553. I just wondered what that was. And one thing on expenditures was by law enforcement and other. It was up quite a bit. So just if Mrs. Gill could explain those to us.
Yeah, certainly I can. The dog tags and fines are just that. They're only the revenue from the sales of dog tags and also from fines, which I think to date there hasn't been any. As far as the other revenue, that includes the ICBC rebates. It includes a little bit of tax sale proceeds. We've got some, this here includes the tax certificate revenue. So when there's property sales or the volume of property sales goes up, the revenues are up there. And it has other little miscellaneous amounts that add up quickly. We also have an ICBC receivable in there for some damage that was done to our infrastructure. The emergency services on the next page, by law enforcement and other, includes emergency services. So there's costs in here this year for fighting the wildfires up in Cache Creek and Vernon. So the revenue for that is shown separately. So it is higher than what we budgeted, but there is revenue to offset that.
That clarifies, Councillor Austin.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Great. Councillor, first I'll go to Mayor Day. I saw him first, sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just going back to the summary front page, will we be reviewing the parcel taxes at the same time as the rates for 2023? Or do we save that till budget time?
Yeah, normally we review that at budget time to see whether we want some increases there. So that will be coming forward.
Now, Councillor Sandu, I saw you next.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask a couple things. Is for our next finance meeting, could we have the amount that we have built up in the snow account from unused funds for the last 2 years? Because I think it was 2020, 2021 that has been allocated for any surplus went into an account.
So far, there's only been 1 year that's transferred because we wait this year amount will wait and transfer in 2022. So last year's amount was transferred this year, and off the top of my head, it was around $11,000.
Okay. From 2020?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at, oh, that's 2020 budget, never mind. So right now for the budget for 2021, we've only used up $9,625.
Correct.
And that would go to December 31st of this year?
That's right.
Okay. Okay. The other question I had is when we come to budget talks, for any surplus in sidewalks and paving that's not used, does that money go back into general the following year? Or
yeah, normally it does. Usually if it's not spent, it's reallocated the next year to be spent. So
would it be reallocated to those specific like for paving and sidewalks, or is it just in general for the following?
That's up to council during budget discussions as to.
So council, we can actually look at any surplus from 2021. We could allocate next year into paving and sidewalks to add to the budget if we choose that.
Yes.
Okay, so we can have that discussion. Okay.
The best way to move forward on that is to initiate discussion on a reserve in those fields, that any unexpended money be forwarded into that for future use. But I believe the CAO had a comment as well.
Yeah, well, I think in years that we exceed the budgets in terms of expenditures, then you've got to be cautious that we don't just take monies from surplus previous years, but not put back anything. So I think it works out at the end of the day. I don't think building up this reserve fund in that area makes a lot of sense, because you can always it's sitting in a surplus. It's basically a large reserve fund that can be used for a number of things. So if you start, defining what it's to be used for, it becomes a lot more difficult to deal with a budget year in terms of expenditures.
Okay.
I think it's not wise.
I was just hoping that, we could have the discussion just for possibly, having more roads done and more sidewalks done, is just for why I brought this forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything further on the financial report? And again, if you do have questions afterwards, please reach out to Ms. Gill. She'd be pleased to answer you. Thank you very much, Ms. Gill, for that. Moving forward to report number B, it's the building inspector's report for October 2021 for your information. Comments on that, anyone?
A slower month.
Slower, I wonder, it might be the weather. Okay, again, that's just for information. Next is the Lake Cowichan Fire Department incident report for September 2021. I'll be looking for a motion to approve the expenditure of $9,067 for the September 2021 Fire Department incident report. Moved by Councillor Sandu, seconded by Councillor Vermaca. Any comments or questions on that? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. And moving forward, bylaw officer report for October 2021. Joseph?
Yeah, I think you all got copies or did not get copies. Maybe I forgot to send them out, but it's on the agenda. It's on the website, so if you had an opportunity to look at it. Not a lot of issues happened except for they were ticketing, I guess, not ticketing. They were issuing notices on unlicensed vehicles. There were 11. I'll just go through it in case you haven't had a chance to look at it. Dogs at large, there were 3 issues. Overgrown hedges, he only shows 1. Unsightly premises, 1. Unlicensed vehicles, 11. And storage containers, 1, and an illegal burning, 1. And I think the storage container issue has been resolved. At least that's what I've been left to understand.
Okay. Unfortunately, it was not attached to the agenda, but I did look at it on.
It's on the website.
Yeah. Anyone else with anything on the bylaw? No? Okay, moving on. It's from the CAO, contract for review of development cost charge review. Joseph.
Okay, we had to go out. We didn't look like we were going to have much luck with the tender process because we went out the first time and got no takes. So we did it a second time. We went on BC bid and we ended up with 2 quotes. One from Urban Systems and the other one for Urbanics Consultants. After a review by staff, it's our feeling that Urban Systems should get the contract to do the DCCs. The only issue with that is it's a little over budget. We budgeted $30,000 and the amount that they put in a bid for is $38,828. By the time the project is completed, it's not going to be completed until next summer. So I think we will have to amend the budget for next year to reflect the additional amount. And Urban Systems have had a good track record in this area. And so the recommendation is that we award it to Urban Systems for the bid price of $38,828. And if there are any additional work that's required of them, we'll have to pay that. So it will be approved by staff on that issue.
Okay. Looking for a resolution to that effect. Moved by Mayor Day, seconded by Councillor Sandu. Any comments? I think we've had a good working relationship in the past with Urban Systems, and they will do us well moving forward on this review. We'll call the question then. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? None, that motion carries. So moving on to 7, new business. There was none at the start. Don't see any. No notices of motion. Any public relations items? Mayor Day, please.
Yes, just a reminder to everybody that the high school will be marching down to the town or Central Park tomorrow for 11 o'clock. And they're going to have a piper and do all the regular Remembrance Day stuff within the school. Staff and things and students will be doing the presentations and whatnot, and they'll be placing stones on the cenotaph. And also just a reminder to council that on Thursday, if we could meet at the cenotaph at 9:45, we will place our wreath. There is only 4 wreaths being placed. Just the province, the federal government, the CVRD, and the town of Lake Cowichan, and they are not encouraging spectators to arrive. So just be a short and sweet ceremony in honor of veterans by the Legion. So, yeah.
Councillor Austin, please.
Wasn't that 10:45, not 9:45, 10:45?
Oh, 10:45, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I don't want to stand there longer in the rain.
It's the time change, did it?
Yeah. thank
Blame
you.
everything on the time change.
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, there was a Lake Cowichan Minor Hockey Association under 15 hockey tournament this weekend, and it was nice to see the arena with fans in the stands to watch 15-year-olds playing hockey again. It was very well received. Teams from South Delta, teams from Port Alberni, and there was accolades to the organizers of that tournament and to the community as a whole for such an inviting community that we are. Very friendly, apparently, according to most of the people that came, and they're waiting and wanting to come back again. So my congratulations to all those who are organizing that event. Very successful. The local Lake Cowichan team was in the gold medal game, but unfortunately came out with a silver medal. Very well attended, and it was nice to see people again. I was personally doing the vaccine passport checking at the door, and it went off without a hitch. There was no complaints. There was no one that would argue. It's quite clear that if you want to participate, you must show that proof, and everybody did cooperate along. So a great event. Mayor Day.
Yes, and just to tag on to your comments, Sarah, it was great to see that happening again. And I talked to a parent today, and they just elaborated to me how exciting it was for the kids to be back to sort of some normalcy when it comes to minor hockey, and being able to gather around people from other towns and cities and play hockey and play that competitive style of hockey now and again. So the kids really love being back together again. And I think the fans did too, you're right.
I think just to watch the youngsters mingle in the stands and the camaraderie of the house hockey situation. It's not really competitive like rep hockey. It's people that love to play hockey who are not quite at the rep level, but it's very entertaining and fun to watch. So just to watch them mingling in the stands, for instance, and becoming friends was very refreshing as well. Councillor Austin.
I just wanted to ask a question. I hear there some of the leagues are having trouble getting referees. Is there any problem here, or has there been?
All through Minor Hockey Association, there's been a reduction in 50% of referees. There was an emergency clinic where a few were put through and utilized immediately after passing their tests. So anyone who wishes to should investigate. It's good to give back to the community in that way, and help out in the organization. But all associations are struggling with referees and other associations such as baseball are struggling with referees. I think COVID played a major role in the reduction of people that continued on with the volunteering and the training that is required for those. So hopefully, as we move forward, we'll get a little bit more uptick in that. I see no others, so it's time to pause for question period. It's a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker, and 15 minutes is allotted totally. The phone number you may call with your questions on tonight's agenda items is 250-749-6681. That's 250-749-6681. Or you can quickly email your question to general@lakecowichan.ca. That's general@lakecowichan.ca. Apparently, at some meetings, we say that too fast where people can't pick it up. So I hope we have slowed down enough to get that information across. And we will pause until 5:28. Make it 5:29. Just clicked over. If you can bring your videos back up so I know that everyone's returned. just wait for Mayor Day to return and then we'll see if there's any questions. We do have a quorum, so I will continue on if there is any questions. Joseph? You're muted, sir. Sorry. Nothing there? Nothing there. Okay. So we're moving on to 11. Adjournment, moved by Councillor Sandu, seconded by Mayor Day. There is a separate invite for the next discussion for 6:45.
You know, we're going into strategic, right?
Okay,
And then after
and then
that,
that one, and that was a separate invite.
that's right.
Okay, we'll have a 10-minute break and then we'll go to strategic.
Okay.
So I'll call a question on adjournment. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? I know I'm a stickler for process. Okay, we'll see you at 6:41.